Jay Claver recently talked about XRP tokens being worth $1 million each. I wanted to find out what would have to happen around the world for XRP to be worth $1 million each. I looked into the study and information a lot, and this is all I could find. I also wanted to talk about the quantum liquidity model that Jimmy Valley, Molly Elmore, and their team put together. We're going to talk about all of these things and how XRP could hit several $100,000 per token. When we hear about Bigfoot or Atlantis, it seems like these are mythical things or places that we've never been able to really find, but they're still in the back of our minds and we're still wondering if it's even possible to see them one day, right? This whole thing began with this video clip. Now we'll talk about the study that led to it. That sounds good. When it comes to ETFs, I think the price of XRP should be somewhere between $10 and $50. There is a 95% chance that it will happen this year if we get all the other triggers, which I think we will. It's possible that XRP will be worth 3 or 4 figures by the end of 2025. I believe that tokenization of swaps will happen between 2026 and 2027. This will cause the price of XRP to reach 5 figures. Wow. Also, if real estate and other real-world assets are turned into tokens and 85% of that ends up on the blockchain by the end of 2030, XRP will be worth 6 figures by that time. Then, if you wanted to guess even further ahead, I think it will hit $1 million. $1 million market, you gave it 10 years, it's going to be impossible for half of you to say that. It's never going to happen. He's crazy. The other half of you say he has a lot of contacts, he's on the inside, he knows things that we don't, so it's possible. Let's look into what needs to happen to reach some of these price points. Now let's start with the idea that 1 XRP is worth $1 million. The world's economy, technology, and finances would have to change in ways that have never been seen before. A lot of crypto experts and researchers say that this kind of situation is basically structurally impossible with the way global finance works now, with supply limits and the way competition works. In order for XRP to be worth $1 million, its market capitalization would have to reach $100 quadrillion. Okay, this is because there are a fixed number of 100 billion tokens. To put this in perspective, this is thousands of times more valuable than all of the world's assets put together. All of the world's stocks, bonds, commodities, and currencies would have to be turned into tokens and sent through the XRP system alone. Analysts think it's structurally unlikely that XRP will take over all other assets and blockchains, even if it does control cross-border payments, tokenization of real-world assets, and DEFI. These are the macro and governmental changes that need to happen. Global paper currencies would have to fall apart or be replaced on a large scale, and competitors like Bitcoin, CBDCs, and stablecoins would have to lose value. As long as regulations let a single asset control the whole financial system, every major government and financial institution would have to use XRP as the only way to store value, transfer money across borders, and provide global liquidity. It's probably not a good idea to put everything on one system, no matter what you're doing. As we've seen many times, systems do break down, and we just saw a great example of this. Because of a problem with Amazon Web Services, a lot of people who use their phones every day and are on Discord or another app had trouble with that app. Putting all of this infrastructure on one thing might not be the best idea for our future, but it does talk about tokenizing a lot of assets like real estate, stocks, bonds, commodities, and even future economic output, which would need to move through Ripple's ecosystem. Here are some comments from analysts and possible futures. Some investors and YouTube stars have said that they think everything will be tokenized around the world, with XRP becoming the international bridge asset for a $1 trillion economy. They talk about Ripple's work on building a government-backed tokenization tests and network upgrades, but they know that these are just ideas and not plans that can be put into action. Even predictions of a rising market rarely go above $1,000 per XRP, which is why the world's crypto markets have already grown to unimaginable sizes. $100 trillion in market value. We do know, though, that crypto market caps are not the same as real-world market prices. How many are out there for sale on the open market does matter. It's possible that some of these crazy market caps would happen if there was no more XRP on the open market. That's a good chance. Do not misunderstand. I think that prices like 10,000 or 50,000 could go up if enough bad things happen in the world. And XRP steps in to help settle the debts of those bad things. You know, $1 million, a lot of bad things would have to happen. Now I know where this money is coming from, since Jake did say something about 85%. Price in 5 figures. Here it is. Wow. Also, if real land and other real-world assets are turned into tokens, 85% of them will be on the blockchain by the end of 2030. By 2030, 85% of that will be on chain. Just how much money do we have here? $654 trillion in real estate around the world. That's a lot of value that could end up on the chain. Now, this will be different based on the country, city, laws, and how quickly they can start putting this on the chain. Just to give you an idea, less than 0.01% of things are tokenized right now in October 2025. You're talking about real estate that is worth less than $20 billion in 2025. This comes from 654 the whole world. We still have a long way to go. Our world stock market is now worth $145 trillion. Right now, 0.001% of stocks that have been tokenized are that way. $120 trillion in bonds around the world. In other words, 0.001%. So, I mean, we're not even at, say, 0.25% or 0.50% yet. We're still way, way, way back here. $28 trillion in global banks. Tokenized already by 0.01%. There are $12.3 trillion in money market funds. The amount is less than 0.01%. Right now, you have about $7.4 billion, $14 trillion in sovereign wealth funds. There is still no real tokenization of that happening. Global debt, $338 trillion, but there have been no tokens made out of it yet. On top of that, we're at 0.0001% on the world derivatives market, which is much lower. As you can see, ladies and gents, we have a lot of work to do, but there is hope for some crypto assets that will play a big role in the world. In order to use the current SWIFT model to send money, banks have to keep old money in Nostro Vostro accounts all over the world. We want to get rid of these accounts. If you had something like Ripple and RippleNet XRP, you could get all of that money back and use it in any bank or country. I did want to show you more about Jake Claver's idea about a possible 1 million XRP, so I'm going to go back and do that now. Jake Claver thinks that XRP will be worth $1 million in 10 years. It comes from the idea of a complete reset of the world's finances, putting all of its value, including stocks, bonds, swaps, and payments, on the blockchain, especially the XRP ledger. Claver's main point is that XRP needs to be priced very high so that high-value settlements can happen with few tokens. This would allow institutional value transfer, which would basically mean shifting trillions of dollars across the XRP ledger instantly. If the price of XRP was $1, you would need $1 billion of it to send $1 trillion. If XRP was worth $1 million, on the other hand, you would only need 1 million XRP to send $1 trillion. He doesn't see market capitalization as a limit. Instead, he says that utility and speed settlement are what matter most, and that it's these that scale, not market capitalization itself, and then the value of global markets. Since we've already talked a lot about that, I don't need to tell you that.